going on, YouTube? Just coming at you today with a new series of videos for the channel. This is in lieu of the FDA stuff. Hang on just a second here. The FDA is pretty much making it impossible for the consumers to actually get the information that they need from shops. So what this video series is going to be about is titled So You Want to Vape. This is going to be an intro to vaping from both beginner to expert level and pretty much anywhere in between. Now, for starters, what is vaping? Vaping is you take an electric device, depending on what type you get. There's different types here. I've got about 7 different types on the table now, but depending on what type you get is, they pretty much all work the same way. You have an electric battery that heats up a coil that in turn heats up the juice and then pretty much steams it. It vaporizes it into a plume of pretty much water vapor with nicotine and flavoring if you want it. You can actually vape no flavoring and no nicotine as well. Now the first device, I'm not going to open it, but it's the CE4 electronic cigarette. These are pretty much, they're designed as disposables. They do come with a charger, and the way you do that is you actually unscrew the tank from it. Let's see if I can get this in focus. We'll actually zoom in a little bit here. Alright, now there's 2 types of threads on these particular batteries. You have your Eco thread, which is the outside portion of the actual connection, and then you've got your 510 connection on the inside. For the most part, vaping as a whole, everything has switched over to the 510 connection. These batteries here are a constant voltage. They last, a few hours depending on your vaping habits. They can last up to 8 hours if you don't vape a whole lot. Now, that being said, you can get 2 or 3 different types. This type here, the tank is disposable. You use it for about a week or so and then throw it away. This tank here, let me get the focus set right. This tank here is a replaceable coil tank. This is the Kangertech EVOD. It's a pretty decent starter kit. You can get them from anywhere, ballpark estimate, 20-30 bucks, just about anywhere. But this one, as you take it apart, you'll notice this piece here is a little bit different. You can actually unscrew this and then replace the coil, and only the coil, and just keep the tank. Now, these coils typically only last about a week, but the flavor on them is a lot better than the previous version, which is this version here. The flavor is typically a lot better. The vapor production is typically a lot better. So, that takes care of those. Now, once you actually get into vaping and find an actual shop, they're going to have a plethora of different devices. Including the first 2 that we looked at. Also, those are rechargeable. They do come with a charger that you just screw into the top portion. You take the tank off and you just screw it in. And from there, you know, they make different versions of this. Some are adjustable, some are not. Just so happens that the ones that I have with me today are not. From there, you go into a device like this Eco 1 Mega. The company that makes this is Joytech. It is an unregulated device. The coils in it are replaceable, but this one is sub-ohm. Now what that means is you're going to get a lot warmer vape, you're going to get a lot more flavorful vape, and you're also going to get more of it. This one here does not require a special charger. It is actually micro USB. Now if you have an Android cell phone, you will note that it is the same connection. And here's a close-up of the actual tank. Now I'm not going to take this tank apart just because I have juice in it, but I can actually show you a little bit more in depth on a different tank that I have. Battery life on this one is typically a few hours, depending on your vaping habits. You know, you could be looking at, you know, anywhere between 6 and 8 hours. Now the next step up from that, you get into regulated devices. And what that means is you will have a actual display that you can adjust up and down to get the actual warmth of the vape that you want. This particular device right now is set up in temperature control mode. We'll actually go into that a little bit deeper in another video. Now, this is a wrap that I have on mine. The actual box itself is black. It's just held on by a magnetic back, and yeah, this box here is a little bit older than most of my others, so it's falling apart. I've had it for quite some time. But the tank that's on the top is the Joytech Cubus, and you can see in there that the coil is a lot larger than the one from the previous, which is this one, and it's also a little bit larger than this one. The vapor production off this, you're going to get a lot more. The coils also cost a little bit more, but they last longer. The actual vape is a lot more flavorful than, you know, some of the others. Then you get into, you know, higher end devices. This one here is probably one of my personal favorites. This is the IPv3 Li. It's a 200 watt device, and it runs off of 2 batteries. Now I will get more in depth in that in later videos. The tank that's on it is an RTA. Now what that means is you cannot go and actually buy coils for that. They actually have to be made. And what I'm talking about there, I actually have a RDA, which is a rebuildable dripping atomizer. It doesn't actually have a tank, and what it looks like is that you've got a set of coils. Typically there's a wicking material, most commonly organic cotton inside that. This is just one that I keep setting around I don't use this one very often, but it was one of my first. It's the Doge RDA. It's one of my favorites. Not my absolute favorite, but it's one of my favorites. Right now, probably my most favorite is this tank. This is the Omega Alpha BFT. I've already got a video, a build tutorial for this particular tank. So that actually takes care of the device portion of this particular video. Right now I'm just going through the basic components of what vaping is. As you can see, you can get quite a great deal of different style vaping devices, and it just really matters on what fits you the most. Now, from there, that brings us into e-liquid. The e-liquid that I have on hand right now is a national brand. It's simply Southern Sugar Fruit. It's a grapefruit and sugar, as you can tell by the label. Now there's some information right here. 70 VG. It's a 30 milliliter, and it's 6 milligram. Now what that means is, you know, there's 4 ingredients in e-liquid. You've got VG, which is vegetable glycerin, PG, which is propylene glycol, and nicotine and flavoring. In this particular in this particular juice, it is a 70-30, which is 70 VG, and the VG and PG ratio has to equal 100. So if this one is 70 VG, then the PG ratio, then the actual PG amount inside this bottle is 30. And it is a 30 milliliter size, and it's 6 milligram. And of course, you know, you've got your nicotine warnings, your SKU codes, all of the other health warnings that the FDA is making everybody put on these things. And you can pause it at any time to read these. I'm trying to hold it steady. But now e-liquid comes in typically 0, 3, 6, 8, 12, 14, 18, and 24. 24 is a little bit strong, and also the actual device that you're using to vaporize this liquid will depend on what milligram you should buy. Like if you're vaping a higher wattage device, such as this IPv3 Alive right here, you're going to want a much lower nicotine. The more vapor production you get, the less nicotine you need. Now for something like this device, on the other hand, you are probably going to need a much higher nicotine content to actually be able to satisfy the urge of not smoking. Now, this video segment is the first of 7 episodes for this particular series. I'm going to be going over what is vaping, what types of devices and, you know, batteries and things of that nature that are in vaping. And I can't go over every one in particular device just because it would take up so much time. But I'm going to be going over, you know, coils, troubleshooting, rebuilding, how to properly set up a device, just because most vape shops can't even set up your device for you anymore. So like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. As always, subscribe for more videos. Like I said, there's more of these to come, and happy vaping.